acting as his ally. The man said that he wanted to buy treasures to install statues in the sea. The hero looked at him in surprise and asked again. The interlocutor touched his forehead and sighed, saying that trade in Cremo had completely deteriorated. A couple of years ago, Mega Titans began to appear in the seaport. He folded his arms and said that they had never made a direct attack, but their very presence was frightening. The young man frowned and thought that he had definitely heard about it somewhere. Attacking from the sea was impossible, so there was no point in a navy. Cremo was gradually falling into decline. The Count was falling into despair. The hero thought that Xavier would do something, but the novel had hinted at many things, and then suddenly it ended. It was not even clear if there would be a sequel. The brown-haired man frowned. When he first came here, he thought he knew the whole plot, but here, every now and then, stories happened that were not in the novel. The man looked at the guest and said that he had tried to find out how to get rid of them, and had realized one important thing. Mermaids, the strongest warriors of the ocean, were the main source of fear for the Mega Titans. The Count closed his eyes and said that he had thought that they should install bronze statues of mermaids in the very center of the sea. He immediately shook his head and said that he had abandoned this idea. If you make an earthen embankment right in the water to install the statue, the sea will become shallow and the ships will not be able to sail. The hero looked away thoughtfully. The man smiled and said that his treasures were no longer needed, but since they had an agreement, he would still make the purchase. Lloyd lowered his head and said that he could not allow the Count to suffer unilateral losses. The interlocutor clarified whether the young man would not sell the treasure. The hero objected that he would sell it even at a high price if it was so desired. The man looked at him questioningly. The boy smiled and said that he would install the statues without interfering with trade routes, friction struts and caisson shafts. He thought that they would definitely succeed if they took these two elements into account. Lloyd and the knight were sitting in the boat. The young man took a breath and dove in the mask, his eyes sparkling. A grid with a graph appeared before his eyes. Fortunately, the seabed was quite flat and there was a lot of sedimentary rock here, so the ground